Well, thank you so much for waiting. And my name is Alberto Iglesias, and I will be your co-host today and during all this week. First of all, I hope you all are safe at home, but I also hope that you are ready because it's time to welcome you to this Go to Space Hackathon 2021. It's going to be an entire week focused on Earth observation technologies and how to use all that data to solve real problems, not at the space, but in our daily lives. During the following 6 days, we will have tremendous keynotes from high-level experts from the European Space Agency, speakers coming through the main data information access services, training and demo sessions, and also interesting use cases that are being deployed with huge success nowadays. And obviously, we will have a hackathon. With all the knowledge provided until Friday, you are going to have the opportunity to put all that in practice, solving a real challenge that Safir will introduce. It will be the moment to show your creativity, best practices, and teamwork to be the winners of this very special competition. Of course, this event is going to be fully digital because of the restrictions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. In order to mitigate the relations gap that implies this kind of format, I encourage you to be part of the conversation around the event through the social media. And as a quick reminder, we are using the hashtag #GoToSpaceHackathon. Really simple to remember. And once I've said that, I think it's Virgilio Díaz's turn to officially open this event. Virgilio, as you may know, is the Director of Entrepreneurship and Innovation Support Service at the Universidad Carlos III Science Park, and he's going to give you further information about the context in which this event is taking place, and also the importance of this kind of initiatives, both for the university and the innovation ecosystem as a whole. Virgilio, thank you so much. Audience is all yours.
Thank you, Alberto. Thank you very much. Can you listen to me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay, great. Thank you to everybody joining this hackathon event. It's a pleasure to share with you this time. As Alberto mentioned, this is possible thanks to the Go to Space Hubs project. This project, for those who already didn't know the characteristics of it, is built with the help of 6 partners that comes from different organizations. We have universities, we have technology centers, we have science parks, we have clusters. In total, 6 entities who made this project possible. We are based in 5 countries: Spain, Portugal, Estonia, Poland, and Belgium. So we are covering the whole Europe at least, but thanks to being online, we are reaching to other countries that in normal times maybe we couldn't reach in other ways. The idea is to help at least 20 entrepreneurs and early stage startups to go ahead with their entrepreneurial projects. Also to be able to establish a good number of startups and scale-ups in the acceleration track, at least 20. We will help them doing different activities from mentoring to finance seeking, whatever, to help those startups to scale up. Of course, the idea is also to be able to create new startups, at least 9. That's one of the targets of our project. For many of you that are right now with us in this hackathon kicking off, maybe you have a good idea, or maybe you will have in few days a good idea to build up a project or to build up a company project. Please don't hesitate. in coming back to us in order to facilitate you the creation of a new startup. That would be great. That's one of our targets for this project. And what are we doing to do that? What we are doing is try to improve the understanding and facilitating all the methods, all the ways that any entrepreneur could have at their hands to receive the empowerment that allows to create a company. And in order to do that, what is important, first of all, is to be able to understand the needs, any needs that might have in the society, in the market, to be able also to understand how the technology could help to facilitate and to solve that need, and to match the need with the technology, the enabler technology that makes that possible. That is the idea of this project, our project, Go to Space project, that is to facilitate knowledge and technology transfer between space and non-space sectors, areas, through matching events that allows that connection between enablers and needs, and to come up out of that with an entrepreneurial project where we can help to launch and to put into the market. Also important to mention that part of those technologies that we are going to use are related with space observation technologies and the Díaz platform, data and information access services environments. So on that you have a big challenge and also a big opportunity. The events we are organizing along the project are several innovation days, 3 innovation days, several hackathons, and several also demo days. With all of this stuff and your spirit of creating something new that could be useful for the society, for you, and also for the market, nothing can be done if there is no funds, there is no income to deliver. We will have the perfect environment to move ahead with our proposal to you today. That's all. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much, Virgilio. Really interesting, all this context to understand where this Go to Space hackathon is involved. And very quickly, I want to share with you all the presentation about the schedule that we have for today. That is a very good example about many of the things that Virgilio has said, and also what we are going to expect and to see during this week. As you can see in the agenda for today, we are going to have 2 keynotes that are coming from the European Union programs, 2 use cases that are using this technology in order to solve real problems, and then we are going to have some clues about the challenge that we are going to have during this week. We are not going to explain the challenge yet, but you are going to see how SACIR is moving in this way and what kind of collaboration they are waiting for or they expect from your side. And first of all, as you can see in the agenda, and as Virgilio has said also, Earth observation is one of the most exciting and interesting scientific and tech fields in this moment. And if you want to hear more about what's going on and new opportunities that are opening around it, please don't miss up our first keynote of the day. She's Mónica López. She is the Spanish delegate at the European Space Agency Earth Observation Program Board, and is also the Spanish representative at Copernicus committee within the CDTI. Mónica, I don't know if you are here with us already. It's a pleasure to welcome you to this Go to Space hackathon. All yours. Mónica? I don't know if we have
Can you hear me? Yeah. No, yes.
We can hear you perfectly.
1 minute, probably no, the video. Just 1 second.
Now, okay.
It's okay? Okay, thank you very much. So first of all, thank you very much for inviting CDTI to this interesting event and this hackathon. So as you say, I'm going to talk about the new opportunities in Earth observation, but from an institutional point of view. So I have split my presentation in 3 parts. First of all, I will explain to you which are the main European institutions which are investing now in Earth observation. Then I will focus on the Copernicus program, with I think is one of the most important opportunities for these companies to have input data, satellite data, free and open. And then I will finalize also giving some guidelines about the opportunities at ESA, also in the Horizon Europe program, just for those companies which are interested in the activities that these institutions develop. So if you can go, shall I pass the slides or?
You can pass yourself.
Can I do it myself? Okay.
Yeah, the bottom of the page.
Okay, thank you. So I will do. Thank you very much. So just let me start explaining which are the main European institutions which are today investing in Earth observation. So from one side, we have the European Space Agency, ESA, which has many programs, and among these programs, there is one which is the Earth observation programs. Of course, this is a very complex program with many subprograms and many elements. I'm not going to enter into detail, but just to know that there is a European Space Agency, which of course is contributing to the Earth observation domain. Then we have also the European Organization for the Exploitation of Meteorological Satellites, which is EUMETSAT. EUMETSAT has a large constellation of meteorological satellites. Probably you will know they are METOP and Meteosat. And then we have, of course, the European Commission, which contributes to the Earth observation programs through Horizon Europe, and also, of course, through the Copernicus program, which I will explain later on more in detail. So we can see that we have 3 main institutions with different programs, but I would like to remark that all of them are coordinated among them, because all of them has finally a common objective, which is to support the policies developed by Europe. So even as I said, if they are 3 different and independent organizations, they must be coordinated and they work in relationship because they have to reach this important objective. So let's see now to see what the Copernicus program is. So probably most of you already knows, of course, this program, because probably you are already using the data coming from the constellation. But let me just explain it a little bit about this program. So Copernicus probably is the most important program in Earth observation in Europe. It is an operational program, and the main objective of the program is to give to Europe independence in the acquisition of images, and to use this data coming from the satellites to develop new applications and services, mainly in the domains of security and environment. So the probably the main characteristic of this program is that the data are open and free. So all users have access to this data. So it's very important, of course, because I mean, if you are going to create a new company, but also for all the companies, you have an input which is free and open that you can use to develop your products and applications. So which is the structure and governance of Copernicus? Copernicus is a program of the European Commission, of the European Union, sorry, managed by the European Commission. So we can see 3 main components, which are a space component, services component, and in situ component. Which is the space component? I mean, this is the constellation itself, all the infrastructure. I mean, satellites, which is the flight segment, also the ground segment associated to each satellite, and also the contributing missions that I will explain later on. Then we have the services, which produce applications and service for users, and we have the in situ data. In situ data are all data which are not coming from satellite, and that are used, for example, for calibrating the data coming from satellites, the applications, and the products. So I will explain a little bit more in detail the space component. As I said, the space component are satellites and the ground segment associated. So nowadays we have 6 sentinels, C family of sentinels, from Sentinel-1 to Sentinel-6. So here you have the details. For each one of the sentinels, normally we have a different instrument on board. For example, the Sentinel-1, it has a radar instrument in C-band. In the Sentinel-2, we have a multispectral instrument. Sentinel-3 is multi-instrument. You can find altimeter, radiometer, and also a spectrometer. Sentinel-4 and 5 are instruments for monitoring atmosphere and weather that will be on board of meteorological satellites, the satellites of EUMETSAT. And then we have also Sentinel-6, which is a radar altimeter. But a part of this constellation, of this family of sentinels, the space component of Copernicus is also composed by contributing missions. We can say that now there are around 30 contributing missions, and among them we have some Spanish contribution. I can mention the PATH mission, which is a radar satellite, a Spanish mission, and also the Spanish satellites Deimos 1 and 2, which is a commercial initiative with a resolution, high resolution, multispectral and panchromatic. So here, just for your information, I have included this information about which is the launch date of each one of the sentinels which are operating now. So you have here the dates, just as I said, as for information. Then we are going to pass to the Copernicus services. If you remember, I mentioned 3 components: space components, Copernicus services, and also the in situ component. So what are the Copernicus services? The Copernicus services use data flow from sentinels, data from the contributing missions, and data from the in situ component. And with all the information, the services produce products, added value products, that can be used by users. So for the moment, there are 6 services created by the Commission. We have 1 service in climate, atmosphere, marine, land, security, and emergency. And for each one of them, there is a European entrusted entity in charge of it. So here you have, I'm not going to enter into the details because I don't have time to explain all the details, but here I put this slide with information with the websites where you can find more information about each one of the services. Okay, let's now to see how we can access to the Copernicus data. So the Commission has created 4 hubs. These hubs are the Copernicus Open Access Hub. This is normally for all users, public users. Then we have also a collaborative hub, which is normally restricted to those countries which has collaborative ground segments. There is an international hub for this collaboration between the European Union and other international organizations. And then we have also the Copernicus Service Hub, which is restricted to the Copernicus service projects. So here you have, there are different hubs, but the message is that all users, independent if you are collaborative ground segment, you are public user, international partner, whatever, you have an access to be able to use this data from the Copernicus constellation. Here, well, I'm going to pass this slide. Yeah, now something about Díaz. I mean, a part of these hubs to download, where you can download the information from the Copernicus constellation, there are also 5 platforms called Díaz, which are finally the Copernicus Data and Information Access Services. So in these platforms, the objective of this platform, it is not only to download the data, because for that you have the hubs, but the main objective is that users in these platforms can process their data and to develop the applications, their own applications and products. So for the moment, there are 5 Díaz. Here you have the names: Soblo, Mundi, Creo Díaz, Onda, and Wikeo. Wikeo is the the Díaz from EUMETSAT. And here you have also all the information about the links, the websites where you can go to register if you want, to see which are the rules to participate in this or to use these platforms. So let me now to explain you something from institutional point of view, how the Copernicus program is organized. Well, as I said at the beginning of the presentation, the Copernicus program is managed by the European Commission. And there is a main committee, which is the Copernicus Committee, where normally all programmatic decisions are discussed and taken. So in this Copernicus Committee, there are representation from all the countries, which belongs to the European Union. So in the side of Spain, we have as Spanish representatives to CDTI and also to the Ministry of Industry. And this Copernicus Committee is supported by the User Forum. What is the User Forum? I mean, also the User Forum in Europe, has representatives from all countries. So the Spanish representative in the User Forum are the Instituto Geográfico Nacional and the Ministerio de Transición Ecológica. So in the User Forum, the User Forum translate or transmit the needs from users to the Copernicus Committee. So the Copernicus Committee can decide on the future missions. So it's very important that the User Forum can transmit this information to the Copernicus Committee. How we have been organized at national level? Well, at national level, we have for each one of the services that I mentioned before, land, marine, etc., we have a contact point. So for example, in the case of the land, we have IGN as point of contact. So the representative of the IGN is responsible to gather, to collect all the users' need in the service of land at national level, I mean. The same for marine, for example, Puertos del Estado is the contact point for the marine domain. For clima and atmosphere is AEMET, the point of contact. For emergency, we have Protección Civil, and for security, Policía Nacional. So all the contact points, we gather, we collect these needs from users. We translate this national request or needs to the User Forum, and the User Forum translate this information to the Copernicus Committee. So this is like, this is as more or less as the Copernicus program works from institutional point of view. So just to finish now with the Copernicus program, I would like just to show some examples about how, the images, the satellite images, are used in order to solve problems and to develop applications. So in the case of course, in the land service, we have applications at global level, at European level, at local level. Here we can see an example. For example, this is a satellite, a Sentinel-2 image, I suppose, because it's an optical image, that has been used to make a classification of crops. So you see each one of the squares is one kind of crop, and you have the legend on the top of the slide. So this is a kind of application that can be done using this kind of images. In the marine domain, for example, satellite images can be used to study the sea level, the salinity of the ocean, the temperature of the oceans, the sea ice, the wind, the currents in the oceans. And in the next slide, I have an example, a practical example. For example, here you have the use of satellite images to understand the behavior of pelagic fish stocks. The pelagic fish are fishes which lives on the close area surface of the sea. So you can see with the satellite images the concentration of fishes in this. Another typical example on the use of satellite images is the detection of oil spills. I think that this is, well, of course, this is a radar image. Probably this is an example of a fuel leak after collision between a Tunisian ship, a Cypriot ship, in waters of the French island of Corsica. So as you can see, the oil spill can be very well detected in these black areas on the sea. Also, in climate change, emergencies, disaster, satellite images can be used. And the next example is, for example, the evolution of the surface air temperature, in this case, in the African region. So you can see different colors on the image, and it represents the different concentrations of temperatures. And in this last example, we can see in 2019, a concentration of dioxide of nitrogen in Europe. So in red, you can see the different concentrations. So it is just to show you, I think that, no, it is repeated. example is repeated. So it was just to show you, I wanted just to show some examples of on the use of satellite images. Of course, that there are a lot of things that can be done with satellite images, and I'm pretty sure that the new companies already, the companies that already exist, will develop new products and applications according to the needs of users that are coming every day. So let me 1 minute, the presentation. Okay. So once that we have already seen the Copernicus program, I would like to take also this opportunity to show you the opportunities for the companies, not only in Copernicus, but also in this European world and also at national level. So at ESA, as I mentioned at the beginning, ESA has different programs, and one of them is the Earth Observation Program. So at the same time, the Earth Observation Program is composed by sub-programs and different elements. I'm not going to enter into details because it will take half a day to explain all the programs, but just to give you an overview of the main activities. So ESA develops scientific Earth observation missions. So you have the flight segment, ground segment. So, but before, so let me explain you something that I missed. All invitation to tender, I mean, all activities that ESA wants to develop are published in this web portal at esa.ent. Okay, so ESA publishes in this website all invitation to tender. So all companies can present their offer, and then after competition, ESA select the proposal from a company, and this will be the company that will sign a contract with ESA to develop an activity. So normally this is the main behavior in all ESA programs. So now coming to the Earth Observation Program, we have, for example, the scientific Earth observation missions. In this case, ESA can publish invitation to tender for a space segment and for ground segment. Probably it is more focused to companies which developed satellites and hardware and software also for the ground segment. So probably this is not your case. Then ESA also developed scout missions, which are small sats. Also the Copernicus and meteorological satellites developing the same flight segment, ground segment. And then there are two elements or two sub-programs, which I think that are more from for your interest, which are InCubed and EO for Society. So EO for Society is a program focused to develop application and services. So in the same portal, EMITS, ESA is publishing in a periodic basis different activities to be developed by companies, which normally use remote sensing for their activities. So here you can see if you are registered in EMITS, you will receive on a periodic basis all the ITTs that ESA is publishing. So if there is an activity that is for your interest, you can provide your offer and to enter in this loop of a competition, and then if you are the winner, of course, to contract the contract with ESA. But as I say, if you go to this website, EU for Society, at ESA portal, you will find all information related to all ITTs and all activities that ESA is developing at this moment. And then I would like also to mention another program that I think that could be of your interest. This is InCubed. InCubed is a program focused on Earth observation activities, which are innovative, but are also close to market. And to access to this kind of activities, there are two steps. Normally, the first step, CDTI, normally we issue national calls. So the different companies which are interested in the program can present their ideas. We make an evaluation, and we select different the winners' proposals. So these proposals are go to the second step, which is the ESA evaluation. But as I said, for this program, it is needed the two steps: the national call and then the evaluation from ESA. So at this moment, there is no open call, but very likely we will have a call before summer this year. But in any case, all information for the future calls will be published at CDTI website. So if you're interested in this program, you can go to our website to see if the call will be published in the following months. And then I would like also to talk about the opportunities in Horizon Europe. So Horizon Europe is the European Union instrument for the research and innovation activities. So for the years 2021 and 2022, most of the activities of the Copernicus activities will be included in the cluster for digital, industry and space in the destination 5, which is focused only in space. So the work program is currently in definition, but it is expected that this work program will include the evolution of the Copernicus services that include Copernicus applications in synergy with Galileo activities, also international cooperation promotion, for example, the promotion of activities with countries in Latin America. So as I said, for the moment, the program is under definition, is not finished. And normally my colleagues at CDTI, here you have the email of Andrea Julia Perez Carro, who is the person in charge of this program at CDTI. So they will organize also a webinar in this case, because unless that events in person will be possible, but for the moment will be a webinar. In the following months, probably they will present the work program in Horizon Europe. So you could join and you could see all the opportunities that will be in this program. So for any question, I'm not in charge of the Horizon Europe, but if you have any question, you can contact with, as I said, with Andrea. You have all the details there. And just to tell you that a part of the ESA opportunities, or the opportunities at ESA, the opportunities are Horizon Europe. Of course, you have national opportunities for new companies, for developing activities, research and innovative activities that can be funded through all the tools that we have at CDTI. So if you want more information about all the tools for funding projects, you can contact, of course, with us, and we'll explain with pleasure all the tools, as I said, that we have at CDTI. Okay, I think it's all that I wanted to tell you. Just to finish, let me invite you to register at CDTI website, because in our website is where we publish all events, all calls, I mean, at national level. You have all the information about all the financing tools that we have. But only if you are registered, you can receive directly the information. In another way, you have to access to the website every day to see what is happening. So we have a space list of distribution. So I invite again to register if you want information about our space programs. And that's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mónica. I am sure that everybody is now in the website trying to sign up from this diffusion list. So thank you so much. Really interesting and really amazing, all the opportunities that we have done in this field in the European Union and in Spain, but also the new opportunities that we are just starting to explore. Thank you so much for your keynote. And as we have heard about these opportunities, I think it's time to discover also how is the industry taking advantage of them. So it's time to hear the voice of the industry itself. It is the case of Emmanuel Pajot, that is the Secretary General of the European Association of Remote Sensing Companies. Welcome to this virtual stage, Emmanuel, and if you are ready, please, we are waiting for listening to you. Emmanuel?
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here today with you. So, in order to change the slides, I do, or you do it?
You can do yourself at the bottom of the page.
Thank you. So it's a real pleasure to be here today with you. I am Emmanuel Pajot. I am the Secretary General of EARSC, the European Association of Remote Sensing Company. Appointed in July 2020, after 2 years at EARSC. I worked before in the private sector. So I'm used to say that if I had known about EARSC at the beginning of my career, it would have helped me to speed up my business. So, yes. In a nutshell, EARSC was created 31 years ago. It is a non-profit trade association based in Brussels, dedicated to helping European companies in the downstream Earth observation downstream sector. The downstream sector covers a broad type of activities, starting with ground stations or satellite operators that are resellers, up to the geo-information services. And it includes consultancy. The Secretariat is composed of 13 people, and we have 12 directors and 2 experts. You can find much more information, of course, on the different channels we operate. So we have Twitter, LinkedIn on the EARSC website, and additional platforms I will mention in this presentation. So our mission is to foster the development of the European geo-information service industry, to represent European geospatial information providers, to create sustainable networks between industry, decision makers, and users. We really want to be an enabler, and we publish reports and position papers which are available for free in the publication section of our website, earsk.org. EARSC represent more than 120 members from 24 countries in the EU. If large companies are members of the association, most of our members are SMEs. And I'm sure there are companies you are not familiar with. So please pick up one of these and explore it. You will make my day. If you are registered in Europe and deliver services in the Earth observation downstream sector, then you should be eligible to apply to EARSC. So as we want to be an enabler, the fee to join is really low, starting at 250 euros, to ensure that all can benefit from the ecosystem. And this ecosystem is really to support, the development of Earth observation companies. To develop, a company needs to access to 4 pillars: the knowledge to understand the ecosystem, where they stand in the value chains, to be connected with other players, to understand stakeholders, to develop business model. The market, to connect with potential customers, to have access to new type of customer. This is a main barrier for Earth observation companies. Capital, to hire new people, to connect with potential customers, to acquire additional capabilities. And technology, to develop new services, integrating new approach. And this is where companies are generally really good at. And what we have seen is that the Earth observation landscape is changing really fast. Over the last few years, a complex ecosystem of platforms was created, for example. On the infrastructure tier, the cloud is now considered as a really valuable solution to develop your services. And we have access to new acquisition capabilities, new satellites, constellations, new space assets. New approaches have been implemented on the exploitation tier to process the data, thanks to machine learning, deep learning, AI, big data analytics. Startups can also benefit from much more developed mechanisms, incubators, accelerators programs. Companies are developing a new business model, online approach, rent of data, for example. Companies are looking for business partners to complement their value proposal. We also see the evolution on the demand side from new type of customers. For example, urban environment, smart cities were not so developed before. Insurance companies are much more dynamic currently. The evolution of regulations and, for example, the European Commission Green Deal really open new perspective to support Earth observation solutions adoption. At the same time, we can see a really significant evolution from the pure bespoke, so tailor-made standard product to more standardized processing approach. The next step could really be the online delivery, on which we do not have yet enough numbers, but seems really promising. It may offer a great opportunity to get global visibility to company, even the smallest one. And EARSC was really a pioneer in this topic when we made a survey with our members and on stakeholders in 2016. We identified this need, which has led to the creation of a dedicated platform, which is called eOMall. eOMall is a web platform dedicated to the promotion of online services. The real size of this online market is something we will investigate in the next few months. The investment landscape as well is changing. If a significant part relies on public grant, we can see really a stronger interest from different types of investors, venture capital or business angel. A considerable effort has really to be developed in order to stimulate interaction with these investors, who often do not consider they have enough knowledge on the Earth observation market. We do a significant part of this activity thanks to activities we have in projects. Obviously, we can't do this alone, and we, as an association, established and are developing a network to support these needs. So we have 3 types of partnerships. So on the international ones, when we have, for example, GEO, Frontier SI in Australia, AGI, Japan Space System, Eurochile in EARSC in Africa. Then the technology one with ASAS, Eurogi and AIT, and some which are more linked to the user community. So IOGP for the oil and gas, Paul Lavenia for geothermal energy and natural aspect, and ERISI and Nereus, for example. Based on the project we are involved in, the link can be much more dynamic than with others. For example, currently we are working significantly with GEO, Frontier SI in Australia, Eurochile, Eurogi, and ERISI. And we have actions planned with Nereus. All these partnerships are real tools to improve Earth observation awareness, display the value of Earth observation solutions, develop the use of Earth observation, reaching out to new potential communities of users, and foster the innovation, supporting partnership with the private sector. And to disseminate these informations and to interact, EARSC is operating several platforms. 2 are more business focused, let's say. So eOMall previously mentioned, which is initially really restricted to our members in order to promote their capability to deliver Earth observation-based online services. There is then EO Pages, which is the oldest one. We updated it last year. EO Pages is open and for free to all European companies to identify themselves and to potentially make connection with other or company or potential customers searching for specific type of activity. And a third one is EO Wiki, which is really focused on knowledge. On EO Wiki, it is for free again. You can have access to various content provided by EARSC or hosted or linked. For example, in the technology and market, the news section, you can have access to a selection of press release, report every month. So we update it every day, so you can have a really fresh view of what's going on the Earth observation ecosystem. You can really develop your knowledge on it. Then the 4 pillars I mentioned before, and linked to the research to business approach, we really want to promote, drive the potential involvement of EARSC in a project. So we have to be really cautious when we support one project, bid for one project. And I decided to select 3 of them and to inform you on how they make sense for you. So the first one is FIRE. These 3 projects are funded by the European Commission first. FIRE is a forum for innovations aiming to collect user needs from 6 markets: agriculture, energy, infrastructure, marine, raw material, urban, in order to identify what are the future R&D priorities to support digital activity. This knowledge will be shared. PARSEC is maybe a project you are already familiar with, because we have been really pleased to see when we made open call for PARSEC to see really numerous Spanish companies applying to this accelerator. So it is an accelerator supporting SMEs to develop new products targeting environment, food, and energy markets. Based on the 2 open call, PARSEC has already supported and still support 130 companies up to 60k euro in funds, but also provide coaching to these entities in order to help them to develop. More information on the solutions can be shared, seen on the website, and will be shared in the upcoming month. And then the third one is eShape. It is the EuroGeo flagship. So EuroGeo is an initiative launched by the Commission. It is based on an extensive consortium composed of public and private entities. eShape aims to promote European capabilities in the geo ecosystem. So entities involved in this project have access to support activities to develop co-design solutions, interact with users community, and build their sustainability. Event, workshop, and most of document will be accessible to the industry. I just want to focus on eShape a bit because it could make sense again for you in the upcoming month. It is more than a project. It really illustrates how the European Commission projects can play a significant role to support the use of Earth observation services delivered by your company and help them to be visible out of Europe as well. As said before, it is a EuroGeo flagship, so it's directly connected to this really rich but complex ecosystem. And the consortium comprises 63 entities, public and private. So it's a real opportunity to interact with new actors, to learn more about their solutions, what technologies they developed, and really to develop networking and business opportunities as well. All solutions developed to tackle SDGs, Paris Agreement, and Sendai framework. But it is an open project. It's not restricted to current partners or beneficiaries. It is open because in the next few months, so in June normally, we will launch a new onboarding phase. So it means that 5 entities, 5 consortia, will have the opportunity to join this consortium. So stay tuned, follow eShape, and you may have the opportunity to benefit from this ecosystem in the upcoming month, up to the end of the project, which is in April 2023. As an example, how we can benefit to all and benefit to the industry, if we have a look at the water showcase, eShape is composed of 7 showcases: agriculture, health, renewable energy, ecosystem, water, climate, and disaster. If we focus on water, you can have a description on the 7 current solutions which are developed thanks to eShape. And these solutions make a lot of sense with the SDGs. It really highlights how these solutions are supporting for SDG indicators. So it's a real opportunity to inform member states on the current capability, European Earth observation capabilities. It can have a concrete impact on the future integration of EOS solutions in potential future tenders to get these indicators. So it can have a real impact on the market. The market. So let's enter in the market now. What is really important is to understand that it's crucial for us to ensure that all the stakeholders have a really good understanding of the current situation of the Earth observation downstream industry. Stakeholders need to get quantitative parameters on the status and health of the industry, but it's also a real tool for companies to understand where they stand. So EARSC published a different report before every 2 years. And last year, for the first time, we decided to increase the frequency. So we published an intermediate one. So you may see sometimes a reference on the Industry Survey 2020 on the top right of the slides, or Industry Survey 2019, depending on the source of the information, which are available always for free on the EARSC website. So 4 numbers, really important. What does mean Earth observation downstream industry? At the end of 2019, it was represented by 572 companies, more than 9,800 employees, and a total revenue close to 1.4. So the Earth observation downstream sector is healthy and presents a significant growth of around 10% from several years. Growth in the number of companies, growth in the number of employees, and in revenue. And this highlights that companies have delivered and are delivering valuable services to their customers. They have built the trust and they have developed their activities, reaching out to new thematic or market. But we have to be cautious. These numbers represent the situation at the end of 2019. We have some numbers, but we have to continue on this to improve these numbers, thanks to you. The COVID crisis is impacting companies, and so we have launched a new survey to be published in June 21, and it will cover only the first consequence of this crisis. So I want to use this opportunity to invite you to fill the survey. A link is provided in the last slide. And so it is crucial for EARSC to have a really good number of answers in order to evaluate the current situation. I know you receive a lot of survey, but please really consider it as a real priority for EARSC, but also for you. So if we go a bit in the detail now, the total number of companies increased by 57, reaching 572. This represents an increase of 11% between 2019 and 2020. It undermines companies which no longer exist, from going out of business to merging with other companies. So the creation of a company is really unique. An interesting point is that company size. Earth observation sector is still obviously characterized by micro companies, 70%, and only 1% of large. But what we see is a slight increase in the percentage of medium ones, which may highlight a shift from small to medium company size. Is it kind of consolidations? We have to investigate this in the future. In terms of employees, employment is a crucial factor, crucial indicator. Over the last 5 years, the number of employees has grown relatively steadily at a rate of around 10% per annum. This time, we can report that about 1,500 jobs have been created over the last 12 months, representing a growth rate of 17%. Of the total, 82% come from direct report employee numbers and 18 from projected numbers. So it really gives us a good confidence in the result. And the number of micro companies has risen significantly, and many of those are growing. These micro companies drive around 50% of the increase in employment numbers. In terms of countries, all European ESA countries have at least 2 registered EO companies. The country hosting the largest number of EO service companies is the UK, followed by Germany and France, but it doesn't have the biggest number of employees, where it is France and then Germany. If we want to focus on startup, which is of interest, of course, the total number of companies formed in the last 5 years is 171. 17 are one-person company, which means, for example, consultancies, which we consider as stable, so doesn't mean any growth. Of the other 154 businesses which were formed at this time, one has grown into a medium-sized company with over 50 employees, and a further 21 have grown into small company, which means between 11 and 50 employees. On the remaining one, 68 are still micro one, so between 2 and 5 employees, and 34 are micro 2, which means between 6 and 10. So the consequence of this is really to highlight that in order to develop, to create new jobs, a startup needs 4 to 5 years. In terms of revenues, the total revenue for the sector in 2019 was close to 1.4 billion, representing a growth rate of close to 10% over the last 12 months. Again, a total of 1.2 billion is directly reported from our members or stakeholders. So we are really confident with this number. In terms of activities, what we can see is a really significant change. Traditionally, Earth observation is a bespoke market, but we saw a significant change between 2016 and 2018. Revenues from tailored activities have significantly decreased from 60 to 25%, and at the opposite, revenues from semi-automated and fully automated processing have increased considerably. So the substantial investment of company to support this change is clearly visible. So in a survey which is still open, we want to inform about the use of these exploitation platforms, which really highlight that all this cloud processing approach is really considered as relevant for companies. In terms of market, we can see changes in the consumption of Earth observation-based services, changes in the market share, changes which are well aligned with the objective of the EU space program in a way. Defense and security is the most flourishing market and present a significant growth from around 20% to 30% in 2018. Agriculture, environment, pollution, and climate were already identified previously on the top 4 on the artillery. A significant increase is the emergency services market, which moved from the 7th to the 3rd one. Construction, real estate management, and alternative energy improve their ranking. We see although a stronger integration of Earth observation services in some markets, such as insurance, where EO capabilities contribute to the creation of new services called, for example, parametric insurance. And companies have also deeply involved in the provision of information to SDG goals. 55% claims to be delivering currently services that can help with progress indicators, one more or more of the SDGs. Among those companies, the SDG 13 climate actions come first, with DG 6 clean water and sanitation, and SDG 15 land and life. The geographic distribution of sales is, although a very essential parameter for EARSC, as we are involved, active in a lot of projects to promote European services companies' internationalization. The fragmentation of the Earth observation market could be a barrier to internationalization. For example, we can see that sales in the EU represent 70%. If the domestic market is still the most important, it is closely followed by other sales in Europe, which has increased by 9%. A particular point is the increase in sales in North America, which represent currently 15%, so an increase of 50% compared to the previous survey. So companies are really successful in the internationalization business development, and EU services are really appreciated in North America. In terms of customers, the Earth observation market was and is still a public market. So 51% of revenues come from public customers. At the same time, in this growing market, the private company share is stable to 28%, which is already a very good sign. And the biggest change is the increase in the public R&D sponsor, plus 6%. So it's really highlight the investment for the future. In terms of challenge, we ask what are the key challenges? And company reported on what they perceived as the main barrier to grow. And the most relevant reported barrier were all linked to customer acceptance and their budget, as well as finding new customers. It is a really good sign. It's really highlight that companies really want to identify new potential customers and not only selling more to the current customers they have. And one slide about Copernicus. A lot of startups really consider Copernicus as really a driver for their business. It's a key asset, and not only for startup, but for all companies. More than 90% of companies are using Copernicus data, but as well, more companies are using Copernicus services. So over the last 3 years, the use of Copernicus services has continuously increased from 45% in 2016 to more than 60% in 2019. Amongst the Copernicus services, companies are mainly interested by land services, close to 50%, but we can see a particular interest on climate, which has more than doubled between 2018 and 2019. And I want to finish this presentation on one slide on skills. EARSC is involved in a project called EO4Geo in order to understand how we can really support skills transition. Skills is something we heard a lot in different projects on different surveys we launched. A lot of companies consider they do not have currently the skills in order to develop. In order to develop, because they do not have non-technical skills, they consider they do not have the technical skills for specific changes. So this is why we are involved in this project. So sector growth really relies on skills formation, skills deepening, and lifelong training. So currently, we are building, European Commission is building a new approach in order to develop new modern curricula and training offer that are aligned with these market skills. I mentioned it before, we have currently 3 surveys available, and so I would like to invite you, please, to fill this, at least the industry survey 2021. It is a really crucial one. Really crucial because thanks to this survey, we will be able to evaluate what is the consequence of the COVID in 2020. So it's really important to understand what is really the picture of this situation. And then we have two other ones. One is really to the use of Copernicus and startup. And the third one is about exploitation platforms. So I imagine you are more or less whole user of these exploitation platforms. Previously, I mentioned the Díaz and so on. You know that there is a lot of question actually on the future of the Díaz. So we will be really pleased, happy if you could help us on this. And just want to inform you as well on an opportunity to promote yourself. EARSC will launch, will have in June, the EARSC Award 2021. We will have 4 awards, one about the company, one about the product, one partnership, and one startup. So please do not hesitate to go through these pages in order to know more about it and have the opportunity to be promoted as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. A very interesting speech. If someone has a question for Emmanuel, you can write in the chat and we will tell him. And let me remind you that you can take the survey that Emmanuel talked about. Now is the time to learn about 2 cases of Spanish companies that use Earth observation data to develop their projects. The first one is Orbital Eos. Let me tell you a few things about it. They are in the GoHub acceleration program in Valencia, also in the Copernicus incubation, PARSEC accelerator and CDA program of Canada. They have received support from the ESA after the award as the 3rd best startup of the ESA competition. They have participated in the IoT Drive Space Endeavour program. And Orbital Eos is a member of the European Association of Remote Sensing Companies. Today, we have Pablo Benjumeda, co-founder of the company. Welcome. Over to you, Pablo.
Hi, Noelia. Thank you very much. Do you hear me properly?
Yes, I hear you perfectly.
Let me share my screen so that we will be ready for the presentation. Okay. Yes, if you see properly my screen, yes. Thank you everyone. Thank you, Noelia, and all the team to allow me to stay here today. I'm Emmanuel as well for the nice presentation before. I'm Pablo Benjumeda, as Noelia said. I'm Chief Operation Officer and co-founder of Orbital Eos. The name of this presentation is From Pixels to Solutions, because I want to put the focus in the way we work of extracting information from such amount of data that we have in space, so that we are a company specialized in data analytics, and our mission is to provide insights from this data. We are a Spanish startup. We are based in Valencia, and we provide maritime solutions. Why maritime? Why we are focused on the maritime domain? Okay, let me explain a little bit the story of Orbital Eos so that you can understand why we do what we do. As every story, we start from the, I think it's okay. Let's see here. Okay, now it's okay. We have the luck to work, both Juan Peña and I, which we are the co-founders of Orbital Eos, to work for the Spanish Coast Guard for 12 years. The Spanish Coast Guard is a society, is what we call in Spain Salvamento Marítimo, and it has the mandate to provide search and rescue, pollution monitoring, and vessel traffic monitoring as well in the Spanish economic exclusive zone at sea. So there are many assets for the Spanish Coast Guard. and there's many vessels, helicopters, and aircraft. Okay, so this aircraft was my office for 12 years. I was working inside one of these aircraft, and apart from being an asset for search and rescue purposes, we work a lot for pollution monitoring. So this is me in the aircraft. Behind me is Juan, the CEO, and the other co-founder of Orbital Eos. So we was working as tactical coordinators in this aircraft. Our mission was to coordinate pilots, maritime rescue coordination centers, vessels, and other aerial assets for search and rescue, and as I said to you, pollution monitoring. We were managing remote sensing equipment in the aircraft, and we could deliver these missions during the day, during the night, even through the clouds. It's great, the use of remote sensing equipment in this situation on board the aircraft. And dealing with pollution monitoring, we understood one thing that maybe you are surprised, is that about 2 million tons of oil end up at sea each year. And what is most important, most of that goes undetected. This is very overwhelming. Once you are dealing with pollution and you detect 100 or even 1,000 of spills, as we have seen with our naked eyes, it's impressive. So you will be more impressed if you know that only the 10% of the oil reaching the sea each year comes from accidents like the Prestige one that we're all here in Spain we are very aware of, but some other accidents like the recent one in Mauritius Island, or even the Deepwater Horizon explosion in the Gulf of Mexico in 2010. Or there are some menace. There are something very, very threatening in the Red Sea. If you have seen, if FSO Safer is a vessel with 400,000 tons of oil inside that is about to explode in the south of Red Sea. All of this oil coming to the sea from accident is only the 10%. What about the rest? The rest comes from natural leaks and illegal discharges from navigating vessels and from oil rigs. This is due to not the best practices when managing the waste, but in the end, it's a very threatening pollution, and it's something to take into account. Mostly, if we consider that there are about 95,000 ships at sea and 1,400 oil rigs, it's something that we should consider not to forget. But the problem is that oceans are really, really big. It's about 2.5 the size of the continents, and it's a very difficult area to monitor. So that it's very, very, very difficult to have a global understanding of oil pollution, and we are really, really sure that satellites can help us in this task. That's why we started to research. We started to think about. Once we were working with the Spanish Coast Guard, but now we are using satellites. What with this purpose, we try not only to collect the data. We need to know if there is oil, but we need to know much more different things. For example, it is really oil what we have detected, because sometimes there is something similar to oil, but we really don't know if it's oil. We need to know the quantity. If we can estimate the volume, it's very important. We need to know who is the polluter, who is the culprit. Mostly for authorities, it's very important to know who is the polluter. And we need to know, once there is an oil spill, where this spill will go. And we are absolutely sure that this information can be achieved with satellites. So now we are flying higher. We left the aircraft and we are now flying from 1,000 1,000 feet, we were flying with aircraft. Now we fly to 800 kilometers. So why we did this step? Because we firmly believe that satellites can see the big picture. I mean, when we were flying with the aircraft, it's great. We have a very nice capacity of monitoring, but we could see with the sensors even about 15, 20 kilometers of area each side of the aircraft. Now with these new satellites, for example, the one from Copernicus, we can see only in one pass about 270 kilometers. Is a sensible difference. Another very good thing about satellites is that they don't rest. Satellites are monitoring all the day and all the night. This is something that we cannot do with aircraft, because air crew have the necessity to rest. And the third thing that we think that satellites are very, very important is that they transcend all human boundaries. Why do I say this? Because many times we saw some kind of pollution, but we couldn't go to analyze and to extract data from that, because it was only a few kilometers above the Spanish boundary, so that there is no possibility for a Spanish aircraft to fly there, so that this pollution is not do not count. So it's important for satellites because they see all over the planet every day, every night. This is the most important. So in this case, we use satellites with different technology. Here we see Sentinel-1 from Copernicus, Sentinel-2 from Copernicus as well. One is radar and the other is optical. In Orbital Eos, we realized that the use of optical sensors for pollution monitoring was important. Traditionally, for oil spill detection, there is only a use of SAR sensors. Maybe it's because all this technology was developed in the north of Europe, and of course there is a lot of clouds, and they thought, okay, maybe with optical sensor we cannot provide nice information. But using optical sensor, once you are flying in the Mediterranean, you realize that, okay, there are about 75% of the days during 1 year are cloud-free. So 70% of the imagery taken from Sentinel-2 is available. So we can double the monitoring capacity. And no one is using optical sensor for pollution monitoring. This is what we realized. So we started to research and to extract information about the spectrum and the behavior of the oil spills from optical sensors. And of course, we use radar as well. But the combination of both is what we find really, really interesting. This is a radar imagery and optical imagery. The radar is great. We can see during the day, during the night, and through the clouds. But with the optical, we can extract and reach the information. We have a spectral information, so we can be conclusive. This is another image. In the left one, we have what it seems to be oil, but we are not sure. We only have, because of the physical principles of detecting oil when using radar, it's because of the surface tension of the oil, so that there is a reduction of clutter. We have like a black spot of, it looks like oil, but we are not sure. Of course, this is something very close to the shore, and it's something to take into account. That this is the information we have with radar. On the right side, we have an oil spill in the same area, and in this case, we are conclusive. This is real mineral oil, and we can have more information. We know where is the thickest part of the oil, which is the hot spot where vessels needs to go to pick up the oil. So once we have this pollution in optical imagery, we have enriched information. So in a nutshell, the mission of Orbital Eos is mainly to democratize the access to maritime intelligence. Yeah, this is why once Copernicus started to work, there are plenty of data, so we can access to a lot of information. And if we create good intelligence through this information, we can provide key insights. Taking all this into account, we have created EOS Viewer. In EOS Viewer, we try to gather radar imagery, optical imagery, all the expertise that we have gathered in the Spanish Coast Guard, and we truly believe that if we include an artificial intelligence engine, we can create a product really valuable for the industry. We are providing information, we are providing service for authorities and at this moment oil and gas companies. And thanks to this project, we have been awarded the European Space Agency. We are very happy because for the ESA startup competition last year, we were awarded like one of the 3 top startups in Europe because of this project. So that it has given us it fostered our project. We are very happy. So this is just a brief imagery about how EOS Viewer works. It's just a SaaS platform, which is very interesting because it's we go under subscription. It's very easy. You only give one area of interest, and we start monitoring your area with radar technology. Of course, we extract in automatical way all this information. We can have the area. We use AIS data, so we can have information about the polluter. And as I was saying to you, if we use optical imagery, it's very interesting because we can provide where the thick oil is the red line. Blue line is the contour of the whole spill. Red line is the hot spot. And we can assess about the volume. This is about between 6 and 60 cubic meters. So this is a very good estimation about, okay, how we can manage this pollution. This is an oil rig in the north of Red Sea. So thanks to all of this technology, we can be much more cost effective than competitors because applying artificial intelligence, we reduce the number of experts working for giving information in a global scale. And we can be much more accurate because we have experts from the Spanish Coast Guard detecting and training our algorithms, of course. And just a few comments about the artificial intelligence. Yeah, it's in the end, artificial intelligence or machine learning is something about pattern recognition. This is extracted by the books and the philosophy of Edward de Bono, the guy who coined the term lateral thinking. And he said that, okay, the brain works by creating patterns, and we repeat these patterns and use these patterns so that we achieve a knowledge. This is the way we think about we have to use artificial intelligence. If we create a lot of data, valuable data, we train this model, we will get a valuable output. Some experts say like, okay, garbage in, garbage out. If we train this model with not very valuable information, the result is not going to be good. One example of this kind of technology is, for example, algorithms for detecting skin cancer. If you are able to train a machine how a skin cancer look like in an image, and this is something that can be done by experts, by doctors. So if once you put in a model thousands of images of skin cancer, and what is not, of course, in the end, the machine will learn how this skin cancer, which is the pattern, which is the algorithm extract in a natural way the pattern This is something that the doctor has done during the years. So in the end, the machine is going to learn. This is what we do. But instead of doing with skin cancer imagery, we do with oil spills at sea. This is a radar oil spill, and what we do is just pre-process. We cut it in a very small patches, so the model is able to learn from a small image. We use experts to create labels, and we train the model. So once we put this image, for example, in the model, in this image, only the central, the two central black spots are a real oil spill. The rest is lookalikes, which is something that looks oil spill, but is created by part of shadows at sea. So our neural network will do something like that. So it's great. It has very high accurate. It still have some small mistakes, as you see there, but we are training with more and more data, and the data is improving. So we are very happy about that. This year we will start training models for optical sensors, and let's see. We hope to be so productive as in the one of the radar sensors. In Orbital Eos, we have been requested to create some different applications regarding maritime domain. For example, SAMS, this is an algorithm to monitor how the shoreline is moving with the time. So if you do it in an automatical way, you can create trends about and just knowing if climate change is affecting the shoreline and how it's doing. This is a pilot we did for Global Omnium, and they are using it in their operational way. There are some other applications. For example, change detection is something that is very useful. There are many change detection algorithms that you can apply for emergency. For example, you can know if there are floods or some other changes. You can extract very valuable information. You can apply interferometry just to know if there are changes in dam, and there are thousands of applications that come to my mind. But our main focus is soil pollution. And what about the future? What just telling the story? What we think, which is in our roadmap? We are very excited because we are in three projects, long-term projects, to include the artificial intelligence on board. This is something that the PhilLab did last year with a satellite for detecting clouds. So we think that if we include our algorithms in a satellite, the satellite could only have the necessity to download information, not the huge images, so that it will be much more cheap and more easy to manage these satellites. So we truly believe that the future is to include the artificial intelligence in the satellites, and we are working with some companies for this purpose. Another necessity, another project, another importance that we need mostly when we are dealing with emergencies, with real emergencies, is real time. That data, when dealing with emergencies, lose value when the time passes. So if we have an image 1 hour later, the spill occurs or the satellite pass, it's very valuable. If we have the image in 6 hours, it's less valuable. And if we have in 24 hours, there is no value at all. So this is something that we are pushing the European Space Agency and the provider of satellite imagery, that we need to improve this response time. And it's something that is improving with the time, but we still have a path to run. We need this information be accessible. If we want that Earth observation to be a commodity, something for to be used for everyone, for every company, for every people, we need to be accessible. There is no possibility of Earth observation to survive if you need very complex algorithms, a very complex machinery to access. So it needs to be accessible, of course. And of course, as in the way we understand the Earth observation, is to create a wellness. Okay, this is one of the main value of Orbital Eos. We provide solution to create a better environment, a better humankind, and of course, Earth observation for us is just a way to improve our staying in the planet. Yeah, of course. And that's all. Thanks for your attention. And if you have any question, I will. Pleasure.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Pablo. Now, the second company that is going to tell us about its experience today is AGRESTA. This company is a cooperative that has been developing projects in the environmental sector for more than 20 years. It has been introduced to the use of satellite technology and has been the winner of the 2018 Copernicus Space Award for its ForestMap product, a platform based on LiDAR technology. Now, with funding from the European Union through the Horizon 2020 program, it is developing phase 1 of the Woodstock project, a platform for forest inventory in real time. Today, we have with us Nur Algeet Partner and main board member at AGRESTA. All yours, Nur. Welcome.
Thank you very much. If it's okay for you, I will share my presentation. My screen over here. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Okay. Thank you. Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for the invitation for the Go to Space Hub. I'm here today to talk to you about AGRESTA and our cooperative entrepreneurship from forest, where we start working to the space through our flagship project, ForestMap. AGRESTA was founded 20 years ago by 10 students from the Forestry Engineering School, and it was based since the beginning in a cooperative model. Today, in AGRESTA, we are 60 workers. Among them, we are 39 partners of the cooperative, and well, we are actually the biggest Spanish forest consultancy. Since the beginning, AGRESTA was founded in a really innovative focus, and today we are more than 10 doctors working in AGRESTA, and still we are always thinking on growing on our R&D team and lines. We've been working since. Well, we are based on Spain and we have offices all around Spain, but we've been working for the last years, actually all over the world, implementing projects, most of them based on remote sensing tools, actually. Our services cover all the forest sector and also the environmental and natural areas resources. We are working on forest consultancy, forest inventories, but also on climate change, and we have a specific group that make technological developments for all of the rest of the areas. When we started in AGRESTA, we started working on traditional forest consultancy, and we started developing forest engineering projects, forest management and land use planning, environmental studies, and we did at first most of our work was based on forest management practices, from harvesting and commercialization through tree marking or implementing forest plantations. This was the start of AGRESTA. And then the crisis of 2008 arrived, and we realized that we need to get back to that innovative focus that I was talking before, and try to look at our business innovation to make AGRESTA growth and to make our business go on. So here is where forest remote sensing arises, and since then we've been working on forest remote sensing for more than already 10 years. And in this period, of course, there is plenty of things that has been changing. And maybe the biggest change has been this open science scheme that we are now living, and that the previous speaker already mentioned as well. And this is actually a good innovation opportunity for us too, because we've been incorporating all this open data and this open source software already available to our products. And now we are able to contribute to the forest sector with new and innovative tools with a lot of different applications. For example, some of our products cover forest types and land cover mapping. Here I just show you some examples of some projects that we are developing. For example, we are implementing fuel models based on LiDAR and Landsat information, and we also generate a different kind of land cover mapping more related to forest conservation or stands, etc. We are also working on forest vulnerability assessment, for example, forest decline in national parks, or dead biomass by storms like snowstorms or winter storms, etc. And also we have a line of work linked to forest health assessments in different forest types. Here are some examples of the application of hyperspectral imagery to forest health studies over pine in Valencia, and other using Sentinel-2 time series. We also have some products specifically designed for the monitoring of carbon forest, where we are focusing more on international projects, most of them carbon projects for private entities, where we are developing new ways of forest inventory and carbon monitoring. This is an example of an inventory design for a mangrove stand in Senegal, where we've been incorporating these drones to delineate and map the forest plots for the inventory. Doing this kind of works for projects, we have been realizing the improvements that we can implement by the integration of different kind of products. And that's an important line where we are working now in AGRESTA. And this is one of an example of the work we've been doing in the framework of a PhD, where we've been integrating this drone information with Sentinel-1 and Sentinel-2 data for improving the above-ground biomass estimations in the mangrove stands. Apart from these carbon projects that are more at local scale, we are also implementing solutions for the generation of activity data for REDD+ national programs at regional or local or national level. And we've been working in Costa Rica, in Peru, in Madagascar, and in this kind of projects. And this has allowed us to to work with new techniques of Landsat and Sentinel time series analysis that allow us to compute forest change detection, incorporating deforestation and degradation mapping, but also that those are really useful also for forest management or for forest stress mapping. This kind of technology has a really wide application, and another example, for example, is the mapping of total and partial changes in tree and shrub cover. For example, in this case, this is a map of Galicia region in the north of Spain, where we can see all the changes that the forests are having among the last years. And this is a project, for example, that has been done together with PEFC Spain, and it's a key information for them for verified and monitor the certified stands, the certified plantations under the PEFC standard. And well, more products that we've been developing in the recent years are related with forest inventories, because as I was talking at the first, it was one of the bases of the services that we provide since the beginning of AGRESTA, and it was a central activity for us. So we've been developing new tools based at first on LiDAR data, both at area-based or tree-based level. And we are really lucky in Spain, because in Spain, maybe some of you already know, we have plenty of LiDAR information open and freely available. So we've been working based on this type of data for many years. But there was a point where we realized that we can do it better, much better, integrating some other kind of information, and we've been working hard to improve our results and improve our methodologies. And in the recent years, we've been working to incorporate this type of time series analysis to our forest inventories as well, trying to improve the mapping of the uncertainty of the change prediction, and also the estimates of the effect of the uncertainty of forest species maps. So with all this work done, we realized that maybe we were prepared and ready to solve one of our main customers' pain, because there are 16 million forest owners in Europe and more than 400,000 bioeconomic industries, good industries that need forest inventories. And when you are in the field, you realize that forests are dynamic, scattered, and hard to quantify. And doing this kind of forest inventories and monitoring is really laborious, slow delivery, and expensive. So taking in account all of this, we realized that we can provide a solution that that is ForestMap. And well, as it was mentioned in the presentation, we got this idea, we presented to the Copernicus master, and we get access to an acceleration process. And after that, we decided to, to present ForestMap also to the SME instrument call, and we got funded in 2019. ForestMap is an e-commerce platform that allows users to make an accurate online forest inventory of a specific area in a simple way, really quick and cheap. And this tool is based on all this huge amount of available open data and the cloud computing techniques that are also widely available. And well, we are able to to produce a business model based on online sales of directly to our customer. So when a landowner needs a forest inventory, they just need to select the area, make the payment, and in just a minute, they can have a report of their forest inventory for their piece of land. The technology beside ForestMap has two main components. The database, first of all, where all this data is processed and stored, all our model calibration, validations, and all the algorithms. And then finally, the pre-processed information available and ready to use in the website. So when the user enters in the website, after the selection of the area, we just need a couple of minutes to generate a report with the results of the information available. ForestMap is only possible, of course, because we are working with a really strong sales network and important agreement with stakeholders all over Europe. Among them, there are forest associations, spatial data companies, local forest consultants that are really contributing to ForestMap with their own data and also fieldwork. The progress so far of the project, we are working on some pilot areas and on the platform as well. Starting with a beta version, we are developing a pilot case in Spain. We are also working already in Portugal. Here is one of my colleagues, José Luis, presenting ForestMap over there. But it's true that, well, COVID arrived and all these travel restrictions around Europe affected and are delaying the ForestMap progress. We are doing our best with this situation, as everyone, I guess. And in this COVID era that you can see over here in the mask, we are just trying to progress and try to reach our milestones this year by, well, implementing the LiDAR flats that we have in Portugal and doing some field work over there, and hope to go on better this year. And we are really optimistic about the project and hope to have some much more news for share with you in the coming months. Stay tuned and follow the progress of ForestMap. We invite you to that through the website or in the social media of AGRESTA. And well, that's all. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Nur, for your presentation. Really interesting. And we have some questions through the chat. I want to make some of them. One is from Anne from Germany, and she's asking, well, she says that it's a great presentation also, and she asks, does ForestMap rely on openly available LiDAR data?
Sorry, that is open. Sorry.
ForestMap rely on openly available LiDAR data.
Well, in countries where the LiDAR data is already available, yes, it is. In other countries where it's not available, we are doing some flights. For example, in Portugal, we are doing some flights.
Mm-hmm. And another question that comes from Kevin. He asked if you could use this kind of technology to calculate anti-fire zones to protection.
Well, it has plenty of applications, of course, and one of them is for sure the fire management, the delimitation of areas and all the, digamos, all the fire control scheme,
Mm-hmm. And this is a question from my side, but which other kind of uses we can make with this technology? When we are talking about forest, what else can we do in the future?
Well, it can be used for many other kind of natural resource assessments as well, and mainly based on monitoring of vegetation. Mm-hmm. That's the main use of the platform.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much interesting, and I don't know if anyone has any further question, but if you have, you can put through the chat. So thank you so much, Nur, for your presentation. I think the two use cases we have seen are extremely interesting, and we have seen how these Earth observation technologies can be used in real problems here at the Earth, and real problems that are very, very close to us here at Europe. So I hope that this can be a good start point for all the work that you have in front of you during this week. And our next presentation, it would be at 6:15, but if you are ready, we can start with Marta with the next session. The next session is Marta, and is the one that you or most of you are waiting for. We are going to talk about the hackathon itself.
Alberto, I think that Marta is not prepared.
It's not prepared.
No, I think it's maybe we can.
Maybe we can have a break for 10 minutes and wait for her, and maybe all the audience can just grab a coffee or whatever.
Okay, perfect. We can have a break for 5 minutes and then continue.
Perfect. So please, all the audience, you can go to the bathroom, you can take a coffee, and we see in 5 or 10 minutes here at the session. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much. We are back again, and I hope that you have refilled your water bottle or you have taken a coffee. And I have to say, it's the first time in history that an event that is organized here in Spain is good in time. So that's very surprising for all of us. So it's a very good.
Alberto, we are lost your connection. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was in mute. So it's one of the most repeated sentences during this year. So now I was just saying that I hope that you all have refilled your water bottles and you have taken a coffee. And also I was saying that it's the first time that an event of this kind, and especially organizing in Spain, that we have a very bad fame about time management, is the first time that it's in good way. So thank you so much for waiting for us, and sorry for all the inconveniences that we may have caused. And our next session, as I was telling you, is Marta Gil de la Hoz. She is the Director of Strategy and Innovation at SACIR. She is going to speak, obviously, about the hackathon, but not only. She is going also to tell us about the open innovation strategy of this leading company and how this is the basis for the future. All this innovation in an open way, working with the startups, working with coders, and especially in this field that is so innovative and so disruptive. So, Marta, if you are ready, we are extremely pleased to hear you today.
Yeah, thank you, Alberto. Can you hear me in a good way?
Perfectly.
Perfect. Good evening to everyone. My name is Marta Gil, and as Alberto said, I'm responsible for strategy and innovation in SACIR. And first of all, I would like to thank Go to Space Hubs and the University of Carlos III and the rest of partners for giving us the opportunity to participate in this initiative. For us, it's a real pleasure to accompany you and to be able to share with you these very interesting journeys in which we want to add talent, creativity, teamwork, and of course, innovation. As you know, we are SACIR, a multinational infrastructure and services group with presence in more than 30 countries around the world, where we design, we finance, we build and manage infrastructures and services that improve the lives of millions of people on the 5 continents. Our mission is to improve the quality of life of citizens through complex and technologically challenging projects. Projects that enable us to transform our world into a better, safer, and more sustainable place. But despite our industry experts, our great internal talent, and our energy, we cannot do it alone. So we need you, and this is why we are here this afternoon. At SACIR, we believe that collaboration with external innovative agents is an essential factor to continue offering solutions that add value to our clients or to our partners and society in general. We are convinced that innovation, creativity, and talent can be found everywhere. For this reason, we are committed to an open innovation model like the one we are treating here this afternoon that allow us to identify fellow travelers who help us to create solutions that improve the quality of life of citizens based on better urban infrastructure and services that are the core of our business. In this way, we open the door to the innovative ecosystem to jointly develop solutions that allow us to face any challenge. This is why we are here with you today. We are looking for fellow travelers to help us potential uses of Earth observation data in the design, the construction, and operational phases of infrastructures, with a special focus on linear transport infrastructures, roads of all types, and railroads too. As I mentioned, at SACIR, we believe that teamwork is one of the keys of the success of any company. For this reason, we are looking for the best aerospace talent with which to implement technological solutions using Earth observation data to facilitate the planning of the design, construction, and operation of our infrastructures. Let's think for a moment about the cosmos, about outer space, about the Earth, our planet. While the Earth on its surface offers us endless possibilities to carry out large infrastructure projects and services, the opportunities provided by satellite technologies are endless. And this is where we want to focus today. The application of these types of technologies and the data derived from Earth observation allow us, for example, to better understand the traffic on our roads, or maybe to be able to see the progress in the execution of our works, or perhaps predict water demands and thus improve the management of our plant. In short, improve our engineering works and operations. These are just of the cases of usage that could have the implementation of this technology in our performances. But as I said, in order to be able to carry out these actions, we need the best allies to respond to the challenge that we pose to you this afternoon, the help of every innovation agent, in the end, your help. At this point, you may be wondering, how do we do it and what do we offer? From SACIR, we offer the innovative community the opportunity to carry out these solutions together with our experts. In this way, we establish a relationship of trust that promotes collaboration, transversality, innovation, and the exchange of ideas to guarantee the best results. We have been collaborating with the best external innovative talents on a regular basis for more than 10 years. So we are really used to do this. Our formula is simple. We develop ad hoc collaboration schemes for each case. We are committed to a flexible model and agile calendar. We adapt to the proposals of the different innovative agents, and we work with the multidisciplinary teams. This is our daily routine within the innovation team at SACIR. We want to continue sharing experiences, exchanging synergies, getting to know your ideas, because we want to be part of this challenge. We encourage you all to participate and to continue imagining, dreaming, and building a future together. Thank you very much, and thank you to be part of this initiative.
Thank you very much, Marta. I think for everybody is extremely interesting what you have mentioned, all the context about how SACIR is working with all the community, all the open ecosystem. And I hope to see you and all your team during this week to explain a little bit further about the challenge itself and how they can help, in this case, SACIR, to make something great with all this Earth observation technologies data. And well, see you around during all this week, and thank you so much for being part of this initiative.
Thank you, for inviting us for being here.
Thank you so much. And we are extremely good at time today, and our next session is going to be the last one of the day. And we are going to get a little bit in detail with all this hackathon, and especially what you are extremely excited to hear about, the prizes and the acceleration program access. With us is today Gemma Villegas. She's the Madrid coordinator for the Go to Space Hub, working from the Universidad Carlos III de Madrid. And she's going to explain a little bit about how are we going to make this hackathon and what can you achieve with that. So, Gemma, when you want.
Hello, thank you, Alberto. Can you hear me properly?
Perfectly.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. As Alberto has said, my name is Gemma Villegas, and I'm part of the UC3M team with the role of Go to Space HUB Madrid coordinator. First of all, honestly, it has been a pleasure to hear all the intervention today, how the expert draw the Earth observation field and its opportunities and the use cases shown by AGRESTA and the Orbital Eos. Marta from SACIR has just presented the challenge that we have landed in this hackathon, how innovation and talent can come together in order to find a solution to real problems. I don't want to steal a lot of time, but I would like to introduce you in a few minutes what Go to Space Hub is, how we work at HUB Madrid, and what are the hackathon prizes. Go to Space Hub is an European project funding from Horizon 2020 in the frame of this project. As Virgilio Díaz mentioned in his speech, we have organized this hackathon focused on Earth observation data and Díaz platform. Go to Space has main is to secure the creation of an upscaling of European businesses offering technology services in and from the space sector. We don't work only in the space sector, but also from the space sector, transferring space technology to different areas. And due to this objective, we consider that the Earth observation data and the Díaz platform are so important. The huge possibility to use this data allows us to transfer the space technology to other sectors, and this hackathon is a proof of this idea. I would like to pass my Okay, Go to Space Hub is made up of 5 countries and 6 partners. Let me introduce you: European Unlimited from Belgium, Technology Partner Foundation from Poland, the Science Park from Estonia, Instituto Pedro Nunes from Portugal, and Madrid Airspace Cluster and Carlos III University from Spain, and representing in this consortium. Complementary know-how between partners is essential to for the success of the project. Experience in incubation and acceleration program, in technology, specifically in the space sector, and in financing and investment make support between partners and knowledge transfer very important. The project establishes the creation of 3 new space hubs, one in Madrid, the second one in Coimbra, and the third one in Tallinn. And from HUB Madrid, we have the challenge to create an acceleration program aimed at establish a startup and scale up to help improve their products and services and facilitate growth. For example, increase market share or identify possible new target market. We have already developed the first edition of the acceleration program with 11 startups. Most of the companies are Spanish because we aim to boost the space ecosystem at the national level, but startups from other parts of Europe have also participated. The first edition began in September, and due to the pandemic situation, of course, the program has been developed completely virtual. Go to Space program. This acceleration programs combines training, mentoring, and networking. And renowned specialists are working with the Go to Space Hub to make a high-quality program. And the sessions offer are designed to help the companies master the complete scaling process in their companies. And teams also benefit from mentoring sessions to their specific needs. Our acceleration program have more than 40 direct hours of training with more than 10 different trainers, and following the overall objective to offering services in and from the space sector and ensure value creation. From HUB Madrid, we were working to connecting the acceleration program with various initiatives and stakeholders. For this reason, amongst the sessions, workshops have been held on for example, European Space Agency portfolio, specific workshops about Díaz environment platform, the participation in investment programs, or the register at SME platform, for example, or a session on the possibility of the Enterprise Europe network. The participants of the first edition have had some other benefits and resources for being part of Go to Space Hub's acceleration program, like a training resources in agile methodologies, or the participation in even like summits, for example. More than acceleration program, we have built a community of experts in the space sector and in business development. We continually work to create activities and initiatives that offer growth opportunities to the companies that are in our program. For example, the acceleration program ends with an event, demo day, where the companies present their project to potential investors. So, and this is one of the prizes of this hackathon, entering the Go to Space Hub's acceleration program in the second edition. We currently have an open call, so that all those who are interested, all those who want to grow their startups and their companies can apply for the acceleration program, but only 10 startups will be able to participate, and one place is reserved for the winner of the hackathon, of course. And on the other hand, another prize is the possibility of winning 6,000 euros in form of additional services, like technology, for example, helping the legal and administrative process to securities as protection, or legal and financial assessment and advice, contractual access, labor law, overview of normative framework, negotiation with investor, or personalized advice of internationalization, for example, no? Development of a strategy for international market, for example. So both prize will make your project, your startup, your company growth. So I encourage all of you to participate in the Teamworks Days on Friday and Saturday. Companies, teams, and individuals are most welcome to participate. And I encourage you to enjoy this week around the Earth observation data and Díaz platform, attending the session and the training, because it's really an opportunity to get closer to the potential of space technology. And of course, you can contact with us for any question or comment or doubts about the HUB Madrid, the acceleration program, or the organization or prices of the hackathon. That's on my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gemma, for all the information about all this initiative. And we have some questions regarding the operative of this hackathon. For example, Haitam asked about how they can access to all this Copernicus data. So the Díaz platforms that we have, the 5 of them during this week that are available to all the teams and all the individuals that are making projects. But Gemma, how they can access to that Díaz platforms? They have to register in any place in order to access and start working with this data.
We have a contact with the 5 Díaz platform, and the participant can access to platform, and they received an email with the information to access for this data and this platform.
Mm-hmm. And also we have another question in the case of the individuals that want to be part of this hackathon, if they are going to have any assistance or we can help them in order to make teams within the people that is involved in this event.
Yes, for this hackathon, individuals, teams, company are welcome, and for individuals, we create specific teams. So in probably tomorrow or Wednesday, we send an emails to build the teams between the participants.
Mm-hmm. So you already know you can make teams, and we are going more than pleased to help you to grab these people that can help you to develop your idea. Thank you so much, Gemma, for your interesting presentation and to give us this first overview about the hackathon that, as you know, is going to be part of Friday and Saturday, especially with all the technical support and all the technical assessments that you can have or you could even want. You can make any question to all the technical people that is going to be there to help you. And well, there are some people that is telling us that they haven't received any email. I am sure that all the team that is behind the hackathon is going to be in contact with you in order to solve that problem. And obviously, as I was mentioning, you are going to have the opportunity to ask any question regarding the technical details to the Díaz platform providers. And obviously, during all this week, you are going to have also more keynotes, more use cases in order to inspire you. During this first day, we have seen this main overview, this main panoramic vision from the European Union programs, how all these Copernicus and also Galileo programs are working and creating this opportunity to all these startups and all these individuals that want to be part of these Earth observation technologies and how to translate that into the real problems. Tomorrow, we are going to have even more sessions. We are going to have more use cases. And obviously, you are going to start talking a little bit about the technology itself, to put the hands on technology. So I hope you all to have found this first session really interesting, or at least as much interesting as I have found it. So to see how much innovation can be possible in this field. And I hope you all to see around tomorrow. And well, we have finished half an hour before our scheduled time. So I think this would be extremely marvelous for everybody of us that want to return to our daily lives during this strange situation because of the pandemic. So thank you so much to you all, to all the speakers and to all the assistants. And with that, I just encourage you to be here tomorrow to see even more use cases, more technology in practical way, and more inspiring sessions for all the hackathon and all the work that you have to do during this week. Thank you so much. Stay safe.